Hello everybody, I'm Catriona Morten, I'm a sensomotor psychotherapist, and today what I'd like to do is talk to you about how I work in therapy sessions with people with negative belief systems or a poor relationship with themselves. But before I jump into that, if you're enjoying these videos, then give us a like and subscribe to our channel because it really helps us get the message out there and to help more people, which is the whole point of doing this. When I'm working with somebody and they've got a really low self-esteem, they're really struggling with negative thoughts and negative belief systems, and they can be quite kind of laden down by it all, and they don't know how to change it. These are things that you can do at home, and I use these a lot in therapy sessions, and they're really good at revealing what lies beneath the kind of unconscious beliefs we have about ourselves. Our head might go, oh yes, I completely believe that I'm perfectly good enough and I'm lovable, but we can have things that lie underneath it that our head might say yes, but we're not really buying into it. It doesn't 100% sit right with us. And those things often lie in our unconscious. And in sensomotor work, we use a lot of things that we call probes. A probe is a potentially nourishing statement. So it should feel like a really nice thing and shouldn't set off any alarm bells or negative thoughts or make us feel uncomfortable. But they often do. And so a probe would sound something like this. I would use someone's name. And you can do this at home for yourself. If I was working with somebody called Amy, for instance, I might say, Amy, just notice what comes up when you hear me say this. You are good enough, just the way you are. And what I encourage people to do is really sit with it. Notice the breathing, sense into their stomach, just be aware of their body and where that lands. And then we'll say it again, so it goes down in the layers. And so I'm just asking whoever I'm talking to, whoever I'm delivering this probe to, the potentially nourishing statement, to just let it percolate in. Sit with it. See what comes up. If there's any thoughts that come up with it about, oh, no, not really, or we go to a place where we didn't feel good enough. We have a memory that comes up. And so I'll do it again and say, okay, just notice what comes up when I say this to you. Amy, you are absolutely good enough, just the way you are. And we just sit with it and just be aware of any little negative thoughts that come up about maybe the reasons that we're not quite good enough, or where in our body it just doesn't sit quite right, a sense of discomfort. We might start to kind of squirm a little bit or be just, no, I don't know. I mean, it should. Yeah, I agree with that. But there's just something that if we really 100% believe it, there shouldn't be any kind of opposition to it. A lot of people have this kind of sense of, I present myself this way to everybody to hide a part of me that if people knew about, they really wouldn't like me. And a lot of people have that sense of, there's something about me that's not quite right. They wouldn't like me if they knew that about me. And it's surprising how many people actually have that, and it almost can feel like they're walking about like a secret, holding a secret, hiding something that they don't want anybody to see. And probes can help get behind that. They can be a way of just nudging the unconscious to let us know what's getting in the way of those things. And so a probe for something like that, it might sound like, just notice what comes up when I say the following. Amy, when people see you, they really like you. Just sit with it. And just take it in. And then deliver it again. Amy, when people see you, they really like you. And when you deliver that 2 or 3 times, that discomfort or the thing that just lies behind it can just start to emerge. And if it comes from a place in the body, then I encourage people to just sit with that. Just sit with that discomfort. Don't try and make it go away. Just sense into it. Does it grow? What's it like when you really sit with that discomfort coming up? If it had words, what might it say? What's the quality of it? How does it affect your body? How does it affect your energy, your body posture? Does it affect the way that you give eye contact to someone when you've got that? And it might just show what actually lies in your unconscious, what it is that you're hiding, sometimes even from yourself. That's the thing with the unconscious. Often the belief systems and the negative thoughts that lie underneath that, they play out in our behaviour. They'll affect what we do. They'll come up in relationships. If we really don't feel like we're worthy of being in a relationship, that if that person really, really knew us, got to know us, and really see us for who we are, then they're not going to like us. And often we'll sabotage things. We won't know why, but we'll just have these repetitive cycles of behaviours and experiences that just come up, and we might not have a clue as to why that keeps happening, what that's actually about. And when we can use probes to kind of dig underneath those things, that's not just on a superficial level, because if we just say a mantra to ourselves every day, now for some people this really works, to kind of rewire that and get that really going. You know, I'm a good person, I'm good enough just the way I am, or, you know, I'm worthy of love, I'm lovable. It can make a difference for some people, but it can be quite superficial. If we're going to believe something, we have to feel it. We have to really be able to embody that, so that if somebody pokes at that or pushes against that or makes us doubt that, it doesn't feed into those unconscious beliefs that go, oh, actually, they might have a point there. You know, this does keep happening to me. Oh, I did do that thing once, you know, and that wasn't really very nice. Maybe I'm really not a very nice person. We want to get behind that so that we can make it as clear as possible. And also, when we can voice those things about ourselves that lie underneath it, where have they come from? Who does that sound like that would say that to you? Does that sound like something that you've heard when you were growing up? Because we're not born with these things. They all come through our experiences, and they just go in. They go in, and they sometimes just go in a bit of an unconscious way, and we just learn to believe these things about us, sometimes more about the way we feel rather than actually what we think. But when we can put these two things together, it can just really allow things to bubble up, to show. We can shine a bit of a light on them and say, okay, so if those were given to you, what ones would you choose for yourself? That can also be quite revealing. What would you like to believe about yourself? What feels a bit truer? And, you know, we can find the right words that really fit each of us, because we're all different. So, you know, somebody's mantra wouldn't fit me. So we get the words right so that it really fits with who we are and speaks to that unconscious. Put something in there. So then the next time we hear that probe, that potentially nourishing statement, it actually feels like it fits, it belongs. We can give ourselves permission to change our belief systems that were given to us by others, and choose different ones that really do reflect either who we are now or who we want to be, the person that we want to be, how we want people to see us, but from a really authentic place, not from a superficial place. When we do our sensory motor training, and this also applies when you do somatic experiencing training, we have to work as the client. And so we have to do all of the work ourselves that we're going to expect other people to do, so that we really, really understand what it's like to feel vulnerable and to find out all these things that lie underneath. And when I was doing my training, what I discovered was that it felt really, really too much to say, I love myself. because what I was told growing up was nobody likes a big head. Don't have too good an opinion of yourself. Nobody likes a show off. And that really went in. And so, going to do these videos, I couldn't have done this unless I'd done that training back then, because I would have been like, well, who am I? Who wants to hear me? So what I wanted to get to was a place of acceptance, that I accept all the things about myself. I don't have to apologise for being the way I am, that I'm not offensive. I don't try to be offensive. And if people can't accept me just the way I am, then maybe those people don't want to be my friend or be around me, because with real acceptance, it meant that I didn't have to keep justifying myself or trying to fit in or trying to be what other people wanted me to be, that I was really comfortable with everything about myself, just the way I am. It doesn't mean that there's not things that I don't want to change. It doesn't mean it's going to stay that way forever. It just means that I accept it the way it is right now. I'm not going to apologise for it, and I'm not going to feel bad about myself because of it. Yes, you can make changes, but changes can come from a place of acceptance, not fighting with yourself. So these belief systems that we've got, as I've already said, we didn't make them up. Those were things that have been told to us, they've gone in a subliminal level, and we really believe them. We feel them, we know they're there. The problem with those belief systems is we have to make them absolute. We believe in them. And if that's the case, then they will produce a self-fulfilling prophecy. Something we're going to make come true time and time again, which is where the cycles of behaviour can show up. Because we're going to make that happen, but it's on an unconscious level. If we don't know what those things are that are driving it, then we're just acting out in a way. And the same thing will happen every time, because we have to keep that belief system as an absolute. It's ours. It's got to be a sealed unit. And we'll make sure that we have the same outcome every time. But we won't be able to work out why. So using probes to delve under our heads and our sense of ourself can be a really good way of working with the unconscious, bringing those things to light and being able to make the changes that we really want to be able to make, and to develop a much better relationship with yourself, so you're not always thinking negatively about yourself, that you don't assume that other people don't like you because you don't like yourself. So if you catch yourself having a really judgmental thought about yourself or a negative thought about yourself, then it can be as, as inconsequential as, oh God, I'm so stupid. Or, oh, that's ridiculous. Catch it. Use a probe to delve underneath it. Something quite simple like, I'm good enough just the way I am. Or, I can take care of myself. Just tune in with your body. Say those things, leave a pause, make it really land. Say them into yourself, and then notice the thoughts that come up. Write them down. Write them down, because often when we capture them and then we can see them, we can actually see and hear, who do they sound like? Where have they come from? Whose language is that? Is that your language? Or was that language that you heard growing up, either in the home or in school? And then you can look at it and say, is that true? Is that absolutely a true reflection and a true description of me? Do I really 100% believe that about myself? You might find that there's chinks in it, because they haven't come from you. You've taken them in and made them yours. Is there evidence that would fly in the face of that if it's something like, I'm not a nice person? Can you find some evidence that actually flies in the face of it and says, well, actually, I did do a nice thing for so-and-so, and you can put that in your evidence for why that belief system isn't so true. Then you can make another list and say, what would I prefer to believe about myself? What would I like? Write them down so you know what you're working on, and you know the ones that actually, they're coming up, but they're not mine. And when we do that, we can actually start observing ourselves every time they come. Oh, there's that one again. Ah, that's from so-and-so. that's not accurate, and follow up with another one. They will pop up, but when we can catch them and then put something else in their place, you're really working on that one not being procedural, this one being a bit more procedural, the automatic go-to. And we can really retrain ourselves, our head and our body. And the more we take that into our body, the more 100% believable it feels. And so we've now got something homegrown that's ours that we can own. So I really hope that's been hopeful. I really hope that's been helpful, useful, it resonates with you. It gives you some ideas about ways that you can do some work with this on yourself and with other people you know. You don't have to be a therapist to deliver a probe. When these things are from you, homegrown, by you, chosen by you, it just feels so much more empowering. Lets you be the person that you want to be by your choice, your volition. So if you've enjoyed this video, then please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, because it really, really helps us. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.